Have you ever wondered why two people starting at the exact same point end up in completely different places? Let me tell you an ancient story that will change how you see every single day of your life. Picture this, a remote mountain village hidden deep in Echizen Province, Japan. Morning mist weaves through ancient cedar trees like the ghosts of long-forgotten ancestors. The air is so cold that every breath becomes a small cloud of white vapor. And in this frozen silence, two silhouettes emerge at dawn. Two boys, both 15 years old, both holding wooden swords, both born in neighboring houses and inseparable since the day they learned to walk. Their names are Kenta and Takahashi, and today marks the beginning of a journey that will split their destinies like rivers dividing after hitting the first stone. Today, for the very first time, they stand before the door of Yamamoto Sensei, the most honored teacher of the samurai way in the entire province. And listen carefully, because what happens next will echo through 400 years to reach you today, right now, as you watch this. The door opens without making a sound, no creak, no warning, just silence and then presence. Yamamoto Sensei stands in the doorway like a living statue carved from the mountain itself. His face bears a deep scar cutting across his right cheek, a memory from some battle that nobody dares ask about. His eyes are dark, impossibly dark, like looking into wells that have no bottom. He stares at the two boys, long, very long, as if his ancient eyes can see something the boys cannot yet see in themselves. Two destinies about to split, two futures about to diverge, two paths about to separate forever. Enter, he says, just that one word, nothing more. The boys step inside, and the wooden floor beneath their feet is worn smooth by thousands upon thousands of footsteps from students who came before. The walls are completely bare, except for one single scroll hanging in the center. On it, one character written in beautiful calligraphy. It could mean beginning, or it could mean end. In Japanese calligraphy, sometimes these two concepts look remarkably similar. Sometimes you cannot tell the difference until the story unfolds. Now here is where the story gets interesting. Pay close attention, because this is where everything changes, even though on the surface nothing seems to change at all. The first weeks pass, then more weeks. Both Kenta and Takahashi show up for training. Both listen to the teacher. Both repeat the movements again and again. Both swing their wooden bokken until their hands go completely numb. Both eat the same meager food. Both sleep on the same hard mats. Both listen to the same stories of ancient samurai who chose death over dishonor. Everything appears identical, but beneath the surface, something is happening. Something so subtle, so microscopic, that nobody notices it except Yamamoto Sensei with his deep well eyes that see everything. Kenta talks constantly. After every single training session, he gathers the other boys around him and tells them about his dedication. How tonight he will meditate for hours. How tomorrow he will train even harder than today. How in just 1 week he will achieve what takes others an entire month. His words overflow with passion, with grand visions, with elaborate plans. He paints pictures of his future greatness with every sentence. Takahashi barely speaks at all. When the others chat and laugh after training, he sits quietly to the side and cleans his wooden sword slowly, methodically, like each stroke is a form of meditation. Then he goes to bed early, while the others are still discussing techniques and strategies and dreams of glory. One winter evening, when snow begins to fall outside and the temperature drops like a stone, Yamamoto Sensei makes an announcement. Tomorrow at dawn, he says, we begin the first real training. Do not be late. That night becomes crucial. That night reveals everything. Kenta cannot sleep, not even for a moment. His mind races with excitement and elaborate plans. Tomorrow, he will wake even before dawn breaks. He will be first to arrive. He will show the teacher that he is the most dedicated student who ever walked through that door. He imagines Yamamoto Sensei's approving look. He dreams about how in future years people will gather around fires and tell stories of the great warrior Kenta and his legendary dedication. Takahashi also does not sleep, but for completely different reasons. Not because he plans, because he prepares. He lays out his training clothes in a specific place where he can find them in the dark. He checks that his shoes sit right by the door. Then he closes his eyes and sleeps deeply. The next dawn arrives brutal and unforgiving. Darkness thick as black velvet covers everything. The cold cuts through walls and blankets like invisible blades. Snow that began falling during the night now covers the entire world in white silence. Takahashi opens his eyes. He does not know what time it is. There are no clocks, no alarms, no reminders, but something deep in his body knows. He rises without thinking, without debating, without negotiating with his mind. He dresses in the darkness, steps outside where snow crunches under his feet. Every footstep sounds clear and sharp in the profound silence. He arrives at the dojo alone. Only one candle burns inside, casting long shadows on the walls. Yamamoto Sensei sits in meditation, perfectly still. He hears the footsteps approaching, opens his eyes, sees Takahashi standing in the doorway covered in fresh snow. The teacher nods once, only once. But in that single nod lives everything: approval, recognition, understanding. 15 minutes pass in complete silence, then 5 more minutes. Then suddenly the door bursts open with a crash. Kenta stumbles inside, completely breathless. His hair is disheveled, sticking out in every direction. His robe has been thrown on hastily, crooked and twisted. Words pour out of him like water breaking through a dam. "Forgive me, teacher. My mother was sick during the night. I had to help her, then I fell asleep again. I did not hear the first light of dawn. Tomorrow this will not happen again. I promise you. I swear it." Yamamoto Sensei looks at him for a very long time, then asks a simple question that cuts deeper than any sword. "Takahashi also has a mother, does he not?" "Yes, teacher, and his mother is never sick." Silence, complete, devastating silence. Kenta has no answer because there is no answer. "We begin," says the teacher, "but here is the thing. Here is what you need to understand. This is not just one isolated incident. This is not just one bad morning. This becomes a pattern that repeats week after week after week until it becomes identity itself. Every single week, Kenta has a reason. Monday, extra work at home that cannot wait. Tuesday, his younger brother falls sick. Wednesday, his father needs urgent help. Thursday, he feels unwell himself. Friday, so exhausted from the entire week that he desperately needs rest. Saturday, unavoidable family event. Sunday, must prepare mentally for the demanding week ahead. Every reason sounds completely legitimate. Every reason is actually real. Every reason makes perfect logical sense. But here is the truth that Yamamoto Sensei sees clearly. Takahashi faces the exact same reasons. He also has a sick mother. He also has work responsibilities. He also gets tired. He also has family obligations. The difference, Takahashi shows up anyway. No drama, no elaborate explanations, no grand justifications. He simply comes, and then Kenta begins saying new phrases. Phrases that become like prayers repeated so often they sound like truth. "Starting Monday, I will begin seriously this time. Tomorrow, I will train double the amount. Today, I do not feel like training, but tomorrow for sure. Today, I am lazy, but I will catch up later. I am not in the mood right now. If I train without motivation, it will not be effective anyway. Others do not train every single day, either, so why should I?" The phrases sound reasonable. They sound logical. They sound like wisdom. But each phrase represents a choice not to act today, a choice to wait for tomorrow, and tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is always tomorrow. The teacher observes everything in silence. 2 months pass. Yamamoto Sensei watches quietly as Takahashi transforms before his eyes. Shoulders become broader. Movements become more economical, more efficient. Breathing becomes more controlled. There emerges in him a deep calm that does not come from words or intentions, but from something much deeper. Kenta looks exactly the same, still talks with burning passion, still makes grand promises, still creates elaborate plans, but the body does not lie. Muscles cannot be fooled by intentions. The sword knows the truth even when the mind refuses to see it. One evening, as the sun sets behind the mountains, painting the sky in shades of orange and purple, the teacher calls Takahashi alone. The boy enters the private room and kneels respectfully. "Why do you come every single day?" asks Yamamoto Sensei. Takahashi looks genuinely confused by the question. "Because you instructed us to come, teacher." "But why do you come when it is freezing cold, when your body aches with pain, when every part of you does not want to be here?" The boy thinks for a long time. His face shows he is searching for the right words. Then he says something so simple it sounds almost childish. But in its simplicity lies profound truth. Because today is today, tomorrow is tomorrow, but today is the only thing I actually have. Yamamoto Sensei closes his eyes. In this single moment, he knows with absolute certainty that this boy will become a true samurai. Then he calls Kenta into the room. The boy enters with a ready smile, eager to impress. "Why do you not come regularly?" The teacher asks directly, cutting through any pretense. Kenta begins explaining immediately. Words pour out like a flood. So many reasons, so many circumstances beyond his control, family issues, health problems, unavoidable obligations. He does not choose not to come. Life simply does not allow it sometimes. These things happen. Surely the teacher understands. Yamamoto Sensei listens patiently to everything, then raises his hand. Silence falls like a heavy curtain. "There is one word in our tradition," says the teacher slowly, carefully, as if each word carries the weight of centuries. The word is Ashita, tomorrow. "Do you know this word, Kenta?" "Yes, teacher, tomorrow, no." The teacher's voice is quiet but absolute. "This is the most beautiful lie ever created, the sweetest poison ever brewed, because tomorrow never actually comes. It is always today, only today, eternally today, forever today, and every single time you say tomorrow, you choose not to be a warrior." The words hit Kenta like a fist directly to the stomach. He cannot breathe. But the teacher continues. "A samurai can die at any moment. Tomorrow might not exist for him, so he lives today, he trains today. If necessary, he dies today. Tomorrow is an illusion created for cowards who fear the present moment." That night, Kenta returns to his small room. He cannot sleep. Every word from the teacher echoes in his mind like bells that will not stop ringing. How many times has he said tomorrow? How many thousands of times? How many years has he traded today for a tomorrow that never arrives? He makes a decision. Tomorrow. Tomorrow he will change. Tomorrow will be different. Tomorrow he will truly begin. And exhausted from this revelation, he falls asleep with absolute certainty that tomorrow everything changes. The next morning he wakes late. The cycle continues unchanged. Now watch what happens over time. This is the part that will give you chills. 1 year passes. The chasm between Kenta and Takahashi grows wider. Takahashi trains every single day. Rain, he trains. Snow, he trains. Pain, he trains lighter, but he still trains. Fever, he trains carefully, but he trains. Mood does not matter at all. His mind can scream 1,000 protests. But his body does what must be done. After 6 months, his muscles are visibly more developed. After 1 year, his movements have that fluid quality that comes only from repetition. Not hundreds of repetitions. Thousands upon thousands upon thousands. Strike after strike after strike, until the sword becomes an extension of his arm. Kenta trains sometimes, when the mood strikes, when the weather is pleasant, when he is not tired, when there are no other pressing matters. Every single week, he promises that starting Monday, everything changes for real this time. Every month, he is convinced that this month belongs to him. Every year he knows with absolute certainty that this year it finally happens. But tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow is always one day away. Then comes the day that changes everything, the day of the Daimyo's choice. The Daimyo, the feudal lord who controls the entire province, arrives personally to inspect the young warriors in training. He is an old man with eyes like chips of ice. Beside him stand two of his most fearsome samurai, men who have survived countless battles. They observe the boys training for hours in complete silence. After watching carefully, studying every movement, the Daimyo makes his announcement. "I will choose 5, he declares. 5 warriors for special training with the greatest masters in the capital city. 5 who show not just skill with the sword but something deeper, spirit, dedication, reliability." He calls out names one by one. Each name echoes across the courtyard. Takahashi. The boy steps forward immediately. Kneels, the Daimyo nods with satisfaction. Kenta waits, heart pounding, absolutely certain he will be chosen. After all, he is intelligent. He understands strategy better than most. He speaks eloquently. He has read more books than anyone else. Surely the Daimyo sees his potential. 5 names are announced. His name is not among them. He stands frozen among the remaining students, while the chosen 5 step forward into their new destiny. He watches as Takahashi receives a new uniform. He hears the words of praise. He sees the pride blazing in his friend's father's eyes. And for the first time in his entire life, Kenta feels something he has never experienced before. Something black and bitter and poisonous flowing through his veins. Envy. That evening, Kenta sits alone in his room. His thoughts rage like a stormy ocean. Why him? Why Takahashi? I am smarter. I speak better. I understand battle strategy better. I have read more books. I know more techniques. But deep inside, beneath all the protests and justifications, he knows the truth. The truth is simple and brutal as a blade cutting through lies. Takahashi trained every single day without excuses, without drama, without negotiations. He simply trained, day after day after day. And Kenta, how many days did he miss? How many mornings did he choose the warm bed over the cold training ground? How many evenings did he say he was too tired? The truth hurts. It hurts so much that his body literally cannot bear it. So his mind, desperate for relief, finds salvation in a lie. Takahashi just had more luck. The teacher obviously likes him more for some reason. His family probably helped behind the scenes somehow. The whole system is unfair. Lies are soft and comfortable and let you sleep peacefully at night. Truth is hard and sharp and will keep you awake. Kenta chooses the lie. The next day he meets Takahashi. His friend smiles warmly as always. No arrogance, no pride, just genuine happiness. "Kenta, did you hear the news? They chose me for special training." "Yes," Kenta replies. His voice comes out cold as winter ice. "Congratulations." Takahashi notices something wrong but does not push. "You could be chosen too next time," he says encouragingly. "Just train every single day. That is truly all there is to it." Something inside Kenta tightens like a rope about to snap. "Easy for you to say," he responds sharply. "You do not have as many obligations as I do. I have to help extensively at home. My father is sick constantly. My younger siblings desperately need me." Takahashi looks at him quietly, very quietly, then says something that pierces straight through every excuse like an arrow through paper. "I have all the same things, Kenta. I also help at home. I also care for family. But I find 30 minutes every single morning, before dawn breaks, when everyone still sleeps. Just 30 minutes. That is all it takes." Kenta feels his face burning hot with shame and anger mixed together. "Well, not everyone is exactly the same," he snaps back. "It is easier for you somehow, just easier." For the first time ever, something changes in Takahashi's voice. Not anger exactly, something sadder, much sadder. "Nothing is easy, Kenta, nothing. Every single morning my mind screams at me to stay in bed. Every single morning my body aches and protests, but I rise anyway. That is the only difference between us, not how easy it is, but that I rise despite everything. The conversation ends in uncomfortable silence, a silence that has never existed between them before. From that day forward, something fundamental changes in their friendship. Kenta begins avoiding Takahashi whenever possible. When his friend approaches to talk, Kenta suddenly remembers urgent tasks elsewhere. When others speak admiringly about Takahashi's dedication, Kenta changes the subject or finds subtle ways to criticize. Yes, he is decent, Kenta says dismissively, but not that special really. The teacher just happens to like him for whatever reason. Anyone could do it if they had the time he has. The poison grows deeper, spreads wider, infects everything. 5 years pass like water flowing downstream. Takahashi returns from his special training in the capital. He is no longer a boy. He is a man, a true warrior. His movements carry absolute confidence. His voice remains calm even in chaos. His eyes see things that others cannot see. There is presence about him that makes people instinctively step aside. Kenta remains essentially the same, still making promises, still creating plans, still saying that starting Monday everything finally changes. His body is almost unchanged from 5 years ago. His reputation in the village is crystal clear to everyone. Talker. Dreamer, not a doer. Then comes the news that changes everything one final time. War. The neighboring province launches an attack. The Daimyo urgently gathers his warriors. He needs 20 men, the very best. The most reliable, those he can trust absolutely when life hangs by the thinnest thread. Men who will not break when everything falls apart. He announces names one by one in the village square. Takahashi is among the first 3 called. Kenta is not chosen at all, not even considered. He stands in the courtyard while the chosen 20 receive their swords. Real swords this time, not wooden bakken for practice, blades that can cut through bone. Steel that means death or glory. He watches Takahashi bow respectfully before the daimyo. He hears the words spoken clearly for everyone to hear. Takahashi, I trust you completely. I know you will fight with honor. I know you will return alive, or you will not return at all, but you will never desert or dishonor yourself. Kenta feels something tearing him apart from the inside. Not envy anymore, something much deeper and more painful. Shame, pure, unmasked, undeniable shame. The daimyo has judged him unworthy, not because he lacks intelligence, not because he does not know how to hold a sword, but because he cannot be trusted, because everyone in the entire province knows that Kenta talks constantly, but does very little, because words mean nothing when life demands action. That night becomes the most important night of Kenta's entire life. He sits alone in his dark room, and for the first time in years looks truth directly in the eyes without flinching away. How many times has he said tomorrow? Thousands. How many mornings has he chosen the warm bed over cold training? Thousands. How many days has he said today I do not feel like it? Today I am lazy. Today is not the right day. Countless, and now his friend, the boy with whom he started the exact same journey on the exact same day, goes to war, goes to fight, goes possibly to die with honor, while Kenta remains here, unworthy. Rejected, left behind, in this moment, Kenta has one last choice, one final decision that will determine everything that follows. He can change starting right now, not tomorrow, not Monday, right now in this moment. He can commit to training every single day until Takahashi returns. And when his friend comes back, Takahashi will see a completely transformed person. Or Kenta can do the other thing. He can bury the envy even deeper. He can decide this entire situation is fundamentally unfair, that Takahashi simply had more luck, that circumstances were never equal, that life cheated him somehow. 2 paths stretch before him, pain and transformation, or lies and bitterness. Kenta makes his choice, and now, here is where you need to pay very close attention, because this story splits into 2 completely different endings depending on that single choice. If Kenta chooses change, if he chooses transformation, The first days become absolute hell. He wakes before dawn. Everything in his entire body protests violently. The cold is brutal. His mind screams 1,000 reasons to stay in the warm bed. You are too tired. You are getting sick. One day will not make any difference. Start properly on Monday when you are fresh. But he rises anyway, forces himself to dress, steps outside into the freezing darkness, trains for only 10 minutes that first day. His legs tremble, his hands feel weak, his movements are clumsy and awkward, but he does it. The second day is somehow harder. His body aches from the previous day. His mind becomes even more convincing. See, I told you this was too much. You need rest. You need recovery. Start properly tomorrow when you feel better. But he rises and trains the third day, fourth day, fifth day. Every single day his mind invents new arguments. Every single day his body discovers new pains. But every single day he rises. After 1 week, something begins changing, not in his body yet. The physical transformation takes time, but in his mind, there emerges a feeling he has never experienced before in his entire life. Control. For the first time ever, he commands himself instead of being commanded by his impulses and emotions. After 1 month, Yamamoto Sensei notices. The teacher says nothing directly, simply nods once when Kenta arrives early. One nod, but Kenta sees approval burning in those deep well eyes. After 3 months, other students begin noticing. His body is changing visibly, shoulders filling out, arms developing definition, legs becoming powerful, but not just the physical changes, the way he moves, the way he stands, the way he carries himself. Something fundamental is different. After 1 full year, one of the younger boys asks with genuine curiosity, "Kenta, what happened to you? You look completely different, like another person entirely." Kenta smiles, a real smile this time, not performance, not pretense, just truth. "I train every single day now," he says simply. "That is all. Nothing magical, nothing special, just every day without excuses." After 5 long years, Takahashi finally returns from the war. He is scarred now, quieter even than before. His eyes have seen things that can never be told, things that cannot be put into words. He walks through the village and sees Kenta training in the dojo courtyard. Takahashi stops completely, stares, does not recognize his old friend. "Kenta, is that really you?" Kenta turns. Both look at each other for a very long time. "You have changed," Takahashi says quietly. "How? What happened?" Kenta approaches slowly. "You taught me, my friend. That night when they chose you for war, it made me finally see the truth. After that day, I trained every single day without excuses. Like you always said, I just rise, that is all." Takahashi feels something warm spreading through his chest. Both embrace like brothers, equal warriors now, both shaped by the same choice made thousands of times. But if Kenta chooses the other path, if he chooses envy and bitterness, the story becomes something much darker. That first morning, after Takahashi departs for war, Kenta wakes with the same resolution to change. But the bed is warm, the outside is freezing. His mind whispers sweetly, "Start tomorrow. Tomorrow when you feel fresh," and he listens. Tomorrow arrives and his mind says, "Start Monday properly. Make it a real beginning." Monday comes and his mind says, "This week I have too much work. Start fresh next week." Next week arrives and nothing changes except the excuses, but the envy grows. Every single week when he thinks about Takahashi, something inside him tightens like a fist. The thoughts become darker and darker. Takahashi just had more luck than me. His family probably helped him somehow. This training is not actually that difficult. Anyone could do it if they had the time I do not have. I have more obligations than he ever did. The lies become a mantra. He repeats them every single day until he begins genuinely believing them, until the lies become his reality. When Takahashi writes letters from the war, Kenta does not respond. When people in the village talk admiringly about Takahashi's bravery, Kenta finds ways to criticize or diminish. When someone says Takahashi is incredibly disciplined, Kenta replies coldly, well, it is easy for him. He does not have so many obligations as most of us. The poison grows and grows until it fills his entire soul, until there is room for nothing else. After 5 years, Takahashi returns, the hero of the province. Honored by everyone, strong not just in body but in spirit. His presence commands respect without demanding it. Kenta sees him from very far away, watches people greeting him warmly, sees respect shining in their eyes. And he cannot approach. The shame is too unbearable. But instead of admitting the simple truth that he chose not to train, that he chose comfort over discipline, his mind finds salvation in the familiar lie. Takahashi just had more opportunities than I did, more luck, better circumstances, not fair. In the following years, Kenta becomes increasingly isolated, more bitter. Young warriors avoid him. Old ones look at him with pity in their eyes. Every single week he still says starting Monday, but Monday never comes. Monday is always tomorrow and tomorrow never arrives. 30 years pass relentlessly. Time stops for no one. Kenta and Takahashi are now middle-aged men approaching old age. Takahashi is an honored samurai. The scars covering his body tell stories of battles and bravery. The gray threading through his hair carries wisdom earned through decades of discipline. Young warriors come from distant provinces to learn from him. He tells them not about glory, not about victory, about discipline, about small daily choices. I am not special, he says humbly. I just trained every single day, that is all. Not talent, not luck. Just training day after day after day after day. If Kenta chose transformation, he sits beside Takahashi as an equal. Both are old friends, brothers in arms, sharing memories and comfortable silence. But if he chose envy, Kenta is a bitter old man. He tells everyone who will listen about how he was going to be great, how circumstances prevented it, how Takahashi had more luck. Young people avoid him completely. They know the story. Everyone in the province knows. They understand what thousands of small choices create over time. Finally comes the last lesson. Yamamoto Sensei lies on his deathbed. He is older than the mountain itself now. His body is weak, but his eyes still burn with that same fire. He calls both Kenta and Takahashi if they are alive to his side. They kneel beside him. The old man looks at them for a very long time, then speaks with what strength remains. You two came to me as boys absolutely equal. Same age, same opportunities, same teacher, same training, same potential. He stops to breathe heavily. Each breath is effort. But one said, I am doing it right now. The other said, I am doing it tomorrow. He closes his eyes. After 10,000 days, one became a mountain. The other became a valley. Not because the gods were unfair, not because luck was different, because one acted, the other waited. He opens his eyes one final time. This is the only lesson, he whispers, the only lesson that truly matters. Today or tomorrow, now or never. His last breath is quiet as a leaf falling from a tree in autumn. Now here is the part where this ancient story becomes your story. Right now, today, the tale of Kenta and Takahashi happened 400 years ago, but it happens today. It will happen tomorrow. It happens in every single moment when you face the same choice they faced. Not with wooden swords and mountain dojos, but with the same fundamental decision made thousands of times. Two people start equal, same opportunities, same dreams, same potential. One says the phrases of failure. Starting Monday, I will begin seriously. Tomorrow I will do it for sure. Today I am lazy. Today I do not feel like training. Today I do not feel like working on my dreams. I do not have motivation right now. It is not the right time, when I have more time, when this busy period passes. Others do not do it every day either, so why should I? Each phrase sounds innocent, reasonable, logical, but each phrase is a choice. A choice not to act today, a choice to wait for tomorrow that never comes. The other person does not say much, simply does. I do not feel like it, but I do it anyway. I am tired, but I begin. It is cold outside, but that does not matter. I have no motivation, but I do not need it. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. After 1 year, one person is exactly the same with new excuses and the same identity as a dreamer. The other is transformed. Body is different, mind is different, life is different. After 5 years, the chasm becomes enormous. One wonders what went wrong and looks for blame everywhere except the mirror. The other does not explain or justify. Simply lives a completely different life created through 10,000 small choices. In 2026, some people will say, I do not know where everything went wrong. They will look for blame outside themselves. Luck, circumstances, other people, the system, everything except their own daily choices. Other people will not explain, will not justify, will simply live the life they created day after day, after day after day. The difference between them will not be talent, not intelligence, not opportunities, not family or connections or luck or circumstances. The difference will be one choice made thousands of times, the choice between tomorrow and today, between excuse and action, between Kenta and Takahashi. So here is my question for you. Who do you choose to be? Because the choice is yours. It always has been. It always will be. And the choice is not made tomorrow. The choice is made right now in this exact moment. Are you going to close this video and say starting Monday? Or are you going to take one action today? Right now, not tomorrow. Today. Because today is the only thing you actually have. Tomorrow is the beautiful lie, the sweetest poison, the most seductive excuse ever created. Do not let this be just another inspiring story you watch and forget. Let this be the moment everything changes. Not tomorrow, not Monday, right now. The path of the warrior is not walked tomorrow. It is walked today. And today is all you have. Today is all you will ever have. So what will you do with it? The sword is in your hand. The choice is yours. Make it now.